You are in the temple of the rants where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by becoming one of those. This one is for Faf, who says, rant about a time where a company or shop pissed you off because of bad customer service or a bad product. You know, I'm not usually one to get all that upset about, about things things like that. I haven't had a ton of bad experiences, but the number one thing that pisses me off is bad restaurant service. Because I feel like, okay, waitresses, waiters, it's a difficult job on some level in that it's a stressful job. You have to, service people, you have to run around and do a lot of stuff, and aside from tips, you don't get paid that well. However, because of tips, you actually do get paid that well, and your job is meant to be difficult, and that's why you justify having that extra income. Like, the fact that you can do that job well is why you get paid more than a normal low-wage job, because people tip you for doing good work. So I know a lot of people who have worked in the service industry, and they're always very adamant about, like, you have to tip at least 15%, and they're always very, like, forgiving. They're like, oh, being a waitress is such a tough job. And I'm like, yeah, but you see, the problem is that you were good at the job. That's why you deserved the tips. That's why you deserved to be upset when you weren't tipped, because you did good work. But when a service person does bad work, they do not deserve to be tipped. They do not deserve to make more money than what would be standard when they're doing a poor job. If you can't handle the level of stress of this work, don't do this job. So I run into shitty waitresses and shitty service people in restaurants pretty frequently. People who either just don't check up on you at all, take fucking forever to get around to the check, or to bring, back the check after you've submitted it. Like, just, I can't stand having my time wasted in a restaurant. When I'm done with my food, I want to get the fuck out of there. And I've had places where I'm sitting there waiting for the check for a fucking, like, almost an hour. Like, post-finishing food, just sitting there, waiting around, like, where the fuck is anybody? Why are they not checking the floor to see if anybody's done? Like, do you not realize I will never come back here if it's like this, all the time? So, one of the worst experiences like this I've had was recently at a place in Norfolk that it was like a, beer and burgers kind of place, and it was on a night where there was a gigantic storm. It was me, my brothers, and May and Hope, and we were all there. And like, the food and the beer was good. Like, everything I had, I enjoyed. However, after we had sat down, it took like almost 20 minutes before a waitress even addressed us. Like, we were sitting around having conversation, and like, the place, I wouldn't say it was packed. There were still open tables. It didn't seem like there were a lot of waitresses around. And like, we were making conversation and stuff. We all figured out what we wanted on the menu. And then we're just kind of sitting there waiting. And it got to a point where we were up, like, literally, if nobody came to serve us in one more minute, we were going to get up and leave. And like, the hostess at the front door is clearly like looking over at the table, like, worried, like maybe even overhearing us saying, like, we're about to get up and leave. Like, she's like, kind of like, oh shit, like, nobody's helping this table. And like, we can see waitresses helping the tables around us. We're just like, what the fuck is going on? When are we getting service? So right as we're about to get up, we finally get someone, right? And she's like, oh, can I start you with any drinks? And I'm like, I think we all know what we want. Like, we've been here forever. Surely you know this. So she gets out a tablet, and she's taking everyone's orders by, like, going through menus on this tablet. But because of that, if you're trying to, like, specify more things, you can't just rattle off, like, oh, I want this burger with this thing and this thing. She's like, all right, and I say, like, this burger, and she has to go through, like, all these menus, find it, and then be like, what was the next thing you said? So that was annoying. And then May wanted this happy hour burger, and according to the menu, it was happy hour, and she had seen other people getting happy hour items. However, the woman said it's not happy hour anymore, so you can't get that burger. And this is a burger that only exists on the happy hour menu. So she's like, instead, get this, that you can get this mac and cheese burger and get the mac and cheese on the side and just have the burger. But the mac and cheese burger's way the fuck more expensive. That was the whole point. She was trying to just get the cheaper burger. So, and if she had just plugged it into her system, it probably would have came up and said that she could order that because other people were clearly doing so, and it said that it was still happy hour on the menu. So anyways, it takes a fucking eternity for the food to finally come out. The check takes forever. Like, just everything took forever. We were in there for like well over an hour. It was just generally a pretty shitty service experience. Again, the food was fine, and I wish I could remember the name of this place so I could put it on blast. But yeah, the service was unbelievably bad for a place that wasn't even like packed. It wasn't even like there was a ton of shit going on, and the waitress seemed like she was totally oblivious to the fact that she was, being this way. She was not apologetic. It wasn't like, oh, sorry for the wait. She just acted like she had no idea that we were, visibly agitated. So, yeah, that was annoying. That's the kind of shit that pisses me off the most. Just having to wait around forever at a restaurant, or getting servers who just don't do anything for you, and then, like, having to leave a tip at all when you're like, you didn't do anything. Like, why would I tip you when you did nothing? So, yeah. If you're in the service industry, don't expect a tip if you don't do any fucking work.